Welcome everyone to Sliced, a new series where I will try to bring to you the biggest and the most important stories in economics, business, finance, science, and society. I will make every effort that these stories are brought to you in a very digestible and easily understandable format, but at the same time, I will make sure they do not lose their color or their nuance. So, for the first episode today, what do we have in store? We are discussing AI. Will it take your job? AI has been a great topic of speculation, not just across our country, but across the world, across the news media, and across various geographies. But now, due to and courtesy of the great folks at Anthropic, which is the company behind Claude.ai, we have got some data. What they have done is come out with a very thematic, well researched report based on millions and millions of conversations that Claude.ai has had across the world. And basis of these conversations, they have come out with some key findings with regards to what kind of jobs and what kind of tasks are being done through the AI. Now, let's just dive into the report. This is the first visual graphic that we can see. What this graphic tells us is the number and the percentage of conversations that are being had with Claude.ai across various job functions. It can be clearly seen that computers and mathematics and arts and media dominate these conversations, and roughly just short of 50% of these conversations are had in these fields. What does this tell you? This tells us that basically AI is very good and superior at processing information much faster than human beings, and these are the kind of tasks that people are using AI to do: mathematics, coding, art and design, basically refining. And these kind of speculations were already being made, and now we have got some data to support it. If we look at the next graph, it is a brilliant demonstration of the absolute disproportionate use by of the AI by few job functions. If you look at the first line here, computer and mathematics, what this chart tells us is roughly 3.4% of the US population is employed in that field, but almost 37, more than one third of the conversations with Claude.ai happens in this field or by people of this field. What this tells you is that this job function is going to be dominated by AI. In which way, we will see further. But similar to computer and mathematics, we can also see that there are some other functions, for example education, art and design, life and physical education and stuff like that, which are also being disproportionately driven through AI. What this means is people in these fields are using AI at a much more disproportionate higher level than what they are represented in the job function by. And that basically means that these fields are going to be dominated through AI. But at the same time, please notice these fields about transportation, sales, food processing, healthcare support, and stuff like that. Basically, where manual intervention is still the talk of the town. Manual intervention के बिना यहाँ पे काम नहीं हो सकता. And these you can very clearly see are disproportionately less of a user of AI systems. What that tells us is that there will be a K kind of a shift between the job functions which will use AI more and more and which will use AI less and less. And there will be a very clear split going forward. Another cool representation that Anthropic has come out with is the juxtaposition of the AI usage vis-a-vis the kind of jobs in terms of the salaries that they get. If you notice, these are the areas which disproportionately use AI above a lot of other areas. And what is common among these areas of jobs? These are all jobs which you get after 4-year degree of education, and they are fairly high paying, 70,000 to $150,000 in the US. At the same time, another thing that you have to notice is if you look at medical super specialists, they are still very, very, very far behind in usage of AI. And what does that tell you? That these are highly regulated professions, and these are professions where manual expertise is still the most important thing. And AI is still far off from being able to replace manual expertise. What AI can do very well is basically do repetitive, predictable tasks. And what is a brilliant representation of that is this chart. What Anthropic has done is not just try and see what is the background of the users of Claude.ai, but also what kind of jobs they are being used at. They have classified those jobs into two categories: augmentation and automation. If you look at augmentation, augmentation is where people are using AI as a thinking partner. Are they able to re-emphasize something? Are they able to refine their design? Are they able to correct their code properly? Are they able to get a new angle at a mathematical problem? Things like that. That percentage is almost just short of 60%. Another way they are using AI is automation. What Cloud.ai or Anthropic calls automation is basically doing repetitive tasks, something like word processing, something like booking calendars, something like just finding very minor repetitive things and just copy pasting it. That is what automation means in this language. What that clearly tells us is that automation is still being one of the primary usage of AI, but that is still at a much lower level. What this tells us is very clearly that people are using it more as a thinking partner than a replacement. So going forward, AI will be something that people will depend on for their jobs, but it is very doubtful that it will completely replace other people until unless it is manual repetitive job like data entry and stuff like that. But then also there has to be a congregation in the terms of there has to be very little physical labor into the job, and there has to be a lot of high degree of repetition. So data entry kind of jobs are something that AI probably could target. Now, with all of this said and done, what is the really answer to the question that is AI going to take our jobs? This is a very interesting way of looking at it. What this chart tells us is that very few people, less than 36%, actually used AI for 25% of the task. Only 11% of the population, the target of cloud AI, uses it for more than 50% of the tasks, and very minuscule, less than the tail of 5%, only 4% use the AI for 75% of the tasks. Obviously, this 4% would be in the category of repetitive tasks, in the category of computational and mathematical tasks, basically a high degree of predictability which AI can reliably do. What this tells us is very simply this, that there are some job functions which obviously would be at some risk, which would have the characteristics of predictability, of repeatability. But when it comes to new thinking, creative thinking, manual expertise requirement, these kind of jobs, at best AI would be a partner, and people who would be able to tame AI, would take advantage of AI as a partner, would actually do these jobs even better. Another cool way of looking at it is this graph. If you see, what AI is really good at is good at things like critical thinking, active listening, reading comprehension, basically where the mental faculties of human beings are being tested and stretched. But when it comes to manual things like basically driving and things like that, that is not where AI is of much use. So this gives us a very clear pattern, a very good hint to the answer of will AI take our jobs. Yes, AI can be a threat to people only in the long run, where they are doing repeatable predictable tasks over and over and over and again. But if you are in a field where creative thinking is required, where manual expertise is required, you are still some ways off from AI threatening you. At best, at this time, AI could be a partner, and if you are able to tame AI, if you are able to take advantage of AI, you can actually excel at your job and become even more productive. With that, I close the first episode of Sliced. This is the first episode in the long series. I would love to have feedback from your side. I would love to know which are the topics do you want me to cover. Is this a good format for you to understand this? And what more I can do to make these stories more understandable, more reachable, more digestible. Hope to see you very soon.